Good evening, friends, and welcome to my channel again. I am here to talk about a very interesting geographical information today, and I hope you would find it interesting too. Now, whenever the idea of closeness to outer space comes to our mind, whenever we think that which country could be closest to outer space, what does normally come to our mind? Which country does normally come to our mind? Well, as per the Hollywood contribution, most of the alien attacks have happened in US. So it's a natural idea that US could be closest to the outer space. But there are countries which are further north. Say for example Greenland. Then there are the Scandinavian countries. So it's natural to believe that the countries which are located close to North Pole could be closer to the outer space. But surprisingly, that's not so. A country in South America which sits atop the equator is believed to be the country that is closest to outer space. Now let us see how it is so. It's purely on scientific terms and there are no assumptions or hypotheses involved in this. So, believe me when I say that the closest country to outer space is Ecuador, and its highest mountain, Mount Chimborazo, is the farthest point on Earth's surface from the center of the Earth, and it is even further than Mount Everest. And why is this so? It's all about Earth's shape. In our schools we have studied, so all of you would recall that Earth is not a perfect sphere. It's an oblate spheroid. The shape of the Earth is best referred as an oblate spheroid, meaning it bulges outward at the equator due to rotation. The equatorial radius is about 21 km greater than the polar radius. That makes locations at or near the equator further from the planet's center, hence closer to space. Well, that's some information indeed. Now, Mount Chimborazo, which is in equator, lies almost right on the equator, while Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth, which is in Nepal, is much further north. Okay, now let us do a quick comparison of Mount Chimborazo versus Mount Everest. Height above sea level for Mount Chimborazo is 6,263 meters. If you have a pen and pencil with you, you may start noting down this data, or you would find them online too very easily. Whereas for Mount Everest, it's 8,848 meters above the sea level. Distance from Earth's center, if we take the distance from the Earth's center, Mount Chimborazo is at a distance of 6,384.4 kilometers, whereas Mount Everest is at a distance of 6,382.3 kilometers, which makes Mount Chimborazo 2.1 kilometer closer. Now wait for something more. So even though Everest is higher above sea level as compared to Chimborazo, Chimborazo's summit is about 2.1 kilometer closer to outer space because it sits atop Earth's equatorial bulge. Now how about that? Well, friends, there is a line, an official boundary of outer space which is called the Kármán line. and this line lies at 100 kilometers, that is 100,000 meters above sea level. Now let us see the distance between Mount Chimborazo and Mount Everest with respect to the Karman line. Now, as I referred before, Mount Chimborazo is at an altitude of 6.263 kilometers, and distance below the Karman line for Mount Chimborazo is at a distance of 93.7 kilometers below the Karman line. Whereas Mount Everest, which has an altitude of 8.848 kilometers, is at a distance of 91.2 kilometers below the Karman line. So, Mount Everest is still about 2.6 kilometers closer to the Karman line in altitude. But Mount Chimborazo, as you can calculate here, is about 2.1 kilometer closer to space in terms of distance from Earth's center. So friends, if you stand on top of Mount Chimborazo, you are already 2.1 kilometer closer to outer space than anywhere else on the Earth. Well, I think that's really fascinating. I don't know how the experience could be standing on top of Mount Chimborazo and looking at the outer space, feeling that you are 2.1 kilometer closer. So, since Ecuador lies on the equator where the planet bulges outward, it's the closest country, and the closeness difference, Chimborazo summit is 2.1 kilometer closer to space as compared to Everest, but again it is 2.6 kilometer further below the Karman line. Now, to make this look even simpler, I am attaching two illustrations with this. If you refer to those two illustrations, I believe whatever I said right now could be more clear. So friends, I find it very fascinating. I find this information, this data very fascinating. I hope you have found it fascinating too. If you have liked this information, friends, please do like and share. And if you find my channel worth subscription, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for being with me, and look forward to seeing you again with another very interesting topic. Thanks and take care.